Hello everybody and a warm welcome back to racing as we are live with Digital Racing Championship. My name is Zabi and I'll be taking you all through once again on the commentary mic for the season finale here at Interlagos in Brazil. That is going to be a fantastic one with this. Wherever you are watching us either on Twitch or on YouTube. It is a season finale, round 12 of the 12-round championship. Nothing separates now the champions. No more chances after this. So this is going to be their one and only chance to have a swing at the drivers' standings with the constructors and drivers both up for grabs. Let's have a look at the drivers' championship so far. RD and Raid, the top two drivers in the standings, separated by 12 points. So RD's got a good jump on him, and if he's able to just continue to do what he's done the last couple of weeks, he will be able to have a good grasp on that. Remember, Raid did not finish the race in Monaco, or at least did not arrive actually in Monaco, while RD started the season 2 races later. Ray did 3 races later. Still the top two, still just separated by 12 points, while Justin is in third place with 116 points. Chandray, he was a championship contender and at one point was looking like almost was going to win the championship, is in P4 with 111 points to his name. While Caspar is on 111 and Matthew on 86 points. Sure, other positions are up for grabs, but it is about the top guns tonight. While moving up to the constructors, Haas has a lead of over over 46 points, and with 2 Haas cars and no Mercedes in the session, it rather looks like they're going to be comfortably taking the charge. Sure, there's 2 McLarens as well. McLaren's only 1 point away from Mercedes, so even if there is a little bit of a fight, it would rather be from McLaren. But by the time as it stands and as it looks like, I think Haas would be clear with a 46 points lead to their name. Seems smooth so far. So Haas in first place, 234 points. Mercedes 188, McLaren 187, with Red Bull 183, but they've in fact got 2 drivers, so this is going to be pretty interesting. But then in Red Bull's case, they won't be able to get, because 25 points are up for grabs. Not 25, there's more than 25 points up for grabs, but it's about how much the others can make. So out and about, Aston Martin in 5th place with Sauber in 6th, followed by Ferrari, Alpine, Racing Bulls and Williams. We've got 3 points now as well, but the driver standings is going to be where we will have a chance for the fight, and eventually we'll have the fight right there. But look at this then. This is what we have in front of our hands moving forward. Let's have a look at what we're going to be getting through. Interlagos always provides some great racing action, so not to forget. Interlagos, always there is some great racing around Brazil. So racing, I'm sure, won't be any short of fantastic. But we've only got 10 drivers here tonight, with Matthew on their way to join sooner rather than later, as soon as possible as they can. But now look at this, Juno in there. White Red Bull have started their flying lap. Nearly everybody has started their flying lap, while Masquerator is just going to be exiting their pit lane. While Waz is already out of the session, so that is an interesting thing, and interesting to see that they've already retired. So not sure why is that, and why would have they done that. But look at this then. We have Hardy, your championship leader, currently on their way to start a lap here, while Raid is going to be on what Kimi is going to be just starting their flying lap, while the Ferrari of Hart would be on the way to complete a lap out there. 108.017 is going to be the benchmark for everybody to beat, and Hawk isn't able to do that. Still in the 108s though, but there's going to be a big of a margin for them to catch. Meanwhile, Juno is on their way in that white Red Bull livery. Over that line would be quite slow, and he is quite slow as compared to the top 2. While David has joined, so if Proto joins, we might be just 12 drivers here. It'll be 36 laps around Brazil as well. Remember that. While everybody is on, everybody's having their chance, having their calculations of what they will be able to do. What about RD at the end of that middle sector? 52-0. Will that be good enough? Is it enough for them to go fastest in the session so far? While Raid still sits out in the garage, hasn't went out on the track just yet, so maybe they're waiting for something. Well, RD is just going to be able to go over the line in a P2, 108.3. 032, but that's going to be P2 now as Kimi goes over the line and makes it up to P1 and into the 107s there. The only drivers in the 107s, and what a lap that has to be from Kimi out there. He's done a pretty good job so far. Well, I was about to say before Kimi put it up in that, what a lap from Hart, because he's got a 108.017. RD in the 108.0s, but he's got a 032, so that is going to be pretty close margin, and I think we'll definitely be doing a job. And drivers got some requests. Let's all right, so they're like that. Let the top 3 do some donuts before the end of the race. I'm not sure how that's going to be, you know, playing out with only 10 drivers. Obviously, it could be possible, but I don't think that's how it works out eventually. But let's see. I think we're in for a good treat, hopefully, with these drivers putting up some very close times, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to do a very good job. While Kimi has invalidated their lap, and that means they've got full battery, but I doubt they'll be continuing, or do they come into the pits? They do continue, so that means they'll be looking to put another lap in, and that to be very quick. While GV in the RB 109.741, the slowest of them all so far. You know, Kimi currently on pole position, still continuing on, still going on with it, but not anymore. They will have to slow down by the looks of it. They've invalidated on the exit of the Senna S's. You would have thought they're going to be pretty smooth. They're going to be on their lap. They did indeed improve in the first sector as well, so unless they improve just because they ran a little bit wide or a bit of an off-track going from them, would have helped them gain a bit of advantage. But they've invalidated their lap, especially that Senna S's are the, you know, corners, those S's there in towards turn 1 and turn 2 and 3 are going to be the reasons drivers get penalties or drivers invalidate their laps around here. Every single one of them is now in the pits, apart from the 2, and both those who are out on the track have their lap times invalidated, at least at the moment. And Kimi comes into the pits understandably, while GV should be heading in as well. I mean, all you're talking about drivers staying in the pits, there is drivers exiting the pits, and Hart is one of them. The man who put a time at the first one to have a time on board was Hart, but now his time is only good enough for I mean, I say only because expect drivers to get better. I think P2 is going to be an exceptional position if they are able to keep it. So, to say the least, I'm sure they'll know that they've done a good job, but they certainly will be looking to improve, certainly looking to get a little bit better, because currently, sure, they've got a pretty good time. I think 108.0s is a decent time, but let's say, just like Kimi, if they're able to improve a little bit and go into the 107s, that'll give them even a better edge here. And if they've got enough time, they could potentially beat Kimi. I think if they're able to do that, that would be a brilliant feat right here. So heading towards turn 1 now, into the S's will Hart go here at Brazil for their second lap in qualifying, second stint. Brand new tyres once more. DRS wide open in 7th gear into 8th. The ERS using on the main straight as well to get themselves a little bit of an edge. They're just unable to improve or find a little bit of any improvement in that first sector, and unable to do that. But they'll move over to the middle sector now. This is a pretty crucial part around the circuit. You have to, it's almost, there isn't many heavy braking zone, but these slight medium speed corners are still pretty tricky to get. If you could get a little bit of a problem, if you slightly overrun the accelerator, you could lose the rear end, and if it steps out, you would lose a lot of time. But what about Hart in that middle sector? Still unable to find the improvement in that middle sector on their personal time. So it is all depending now on their final sector if they are bound to find any improvement. No, they will not. eventually you'd have thought that they're going to come in. It's less than half a tenth. It's completely marginal for them. And I think unless they do something extraordinary by the looks of it, they could potentially go 108 zeros or 109, 107 nines. But I think the way this list lap was for them, it currently pretty much looks marginal for them, neck and neck with their best time, in my opinion. But let's see. I think currently RD is in P3. You know, Hearts has had a good run of form last couple of races, and let me actually pull this up on the screen for you all. In the Ferrari, Hearts got to 52 points. Their best previous race at Canada was their best result ever, P3. And even before that, they had a pretty good point scoring consistency with P9 in Silverstone, then a P5 at Spa, P7 in Austria, then a P6 in Azerbaijan. So that's out and about, pretty consistent racing from them. I think moving into next season, and with the new season coming up ahead, it's going to be a good good indication of what they're capable of doing or what they would be doing moving forward. So eventually it's right on here. Well, James is on the track. They put a lap in, but that's not going to be good enough. What about Hawk, though? Hawk has got a time good enough for P4 so far. What about this one there? Goes up and over, finds an improvement, nearly 7 tenths or 6.5 tenths there, but still staying in 108.1 and still in P4. They find an improvement by time, but not by position. And now the man who we'd be looking at, okay, Hawk's still going to be there. Raid is still in the pit, so Raid hasn't decided to come out. Maybe they're just going to come out at the very end of it to really give themselves the only chance they'd have, or maybe just come out of the box. You know, everybody's going to be doing laps. They're just going to be watching them. They're going to be sitting in the garage to have an idea of what everybody else is doing, which eventually could or could not give them an edge at the end of the time of their lap, while the time of James's lap is going to be just about good enough for P5 there. 108.313, 3 tenths or nearly 2 tenths off the next car ahead of them. So eventually doing all they can. I mean, 10 drivers, well, one of them is already out, so only 9 here in the qualifying session, while drivers are busy out on the track, out on the circuit to put those laps in, to put those all-important laps right now, here in the moment. And Prototype's made it. He's made it back on their computer to get in qualifying. So they might just have a chance to get a chance to improve. I don't know whether they'll be able to join in their car or they'll get a random car. Considering, you know, if they are able to join the qualifying session as a driver, would they be able to join their team's car, or a random car would be assigned to them while they come out on the circuit? There's not many drivers out on the track right now. JV is, but they're not finding an improvement, at least in that first sector so far. They're anyways on 2 lap all up soft tires right now, so not a lot is happening. And I think with 6.5 to 5 minutes remaining, drivers are pretty much just waiting for the session to go to the end, for the session to pretty much, you know, move towards the final laps time. I think for they'd want their 3rd run or 2nd run, or even the likes of Raid would have their 1st run out. So also remember, Prototype just coming in now, so they are able to join it off their car that they should be in, which is a decent one. What about JV going over the line? There won't be. Now every single driver is currently in the pits. 11 of them we have here tonight, while 7 of them have managed to put a time in, while 5 have not. Sorry, 4 have not, while 3 are still active in the qualifying session. Vaz is out of it. Prototype Raid is going to be fighting for the championship. He's a championship contender, only separated by 12 points to the next car of RD. So you know there is going to be a lot happening soon. There's going to be so much happening soon if things go as expected, while drivers would be taking care. I think interesting would be that, do you see a fight just between these guys, or eventually a bit of a fight, you know, the rest parts of the grid as well, between other drivers. Hart's time is still competitive enough for P2 so far. Nobody has just managed to beat it, but there haven't been many drivers. So I think it'll depend on track evolution, how much the track improves by, how much the drivers are finding the grip on their final runs while they weren't able to do that on their first runs at all. Remember, it's going to be 36 laps of racing, so so many laps, and a lot could go wrong or right in that race, and a lot will be, you know, a lot will be, as I said, depending on how they do in the race. But I mean, even about at the drivers, considering, you know, drivers separated by not much of a points gap between each other. Let's say Chandray or Justin could be fighting each other, but they're actually not even in the session. So talking about drivers who are in the session, eventually you'd say that Casper in the Aston Martin, which would be Mas Creator, I believe, with 111 points, could potentially jump up to P3 or even P2, P4 or even P3 in the drivers' standings. While Matthew, who's about 15 points to the next car, maybe he'll be, but I think that's probably going to be either he wins a race or finishes in P2, would only be their chance to move forward. While Kimi is on 54 points, so they actually 28 points ahead behind the next car, so they actually would just be able, they might be in a bit of pressure to get jumped by Ian, who is in 9th place. So drivers are close, but not all of them. The top two are pretty much going to be our focus for the night. If you guys want, we could focus on other drivers, but eventually I think it is going to be the two. It's going to be the top two that pretty much give us a fight, don't they? So now look at this. We're on here to get on with our driver in P2. Ian is once more back out on track. Ooh, they've invalidated. They have invalidated in the middle sector. This is what you do not want to do, and this is why the final runs in qualifying could be quite bad sometimes for you. So definitely they have slowed down then by the looks of it. At one point, alright, they wouldn't have been even on a lap, or maybe just trying to get these tires up to temperature or doing a warm-up lap before they could start on a proper lap right here. While still Raid is in the pits along with Creator, so they have still not decided to come out just yet. Well, Prototype is out, 17.8 from him in the middle in the first sector. RD is just going to be starting their lap now. They're in P3. They just need about to 10,000th of a second, 10 milliseconds on the track to put their car in about P2. They would have a chance, but I'm sure they'd want to get better. They'd want to do it even better than ever. What about James, who's just starting, who's getting closer to the end of that finish line, while Juno is away, but Prototype is currently the next car closer to that finish line so far. How good would their time be? And it won't be good enough. Looks like they slow down. And potentially we'll be going again 59 to definitely not most competitive times in that middle sector. They will definitely won't be pitting, but I think the only chance is to obviously continue, which they eventually will be doing. Same goes for Hart. They've been looking for slightest of improvements here in the session. They nearly need a whole 10th to get themselves back to the top, and they will find that 10th to get back to the top. But just by 6,000th of a second, Hart is going to take that pole position. He gets it all, but only to get beaten by RD, your championship leader. He's definitely serious about getting that championship as he jumps up and over to pole position. What about Hawk? He isn't able to find an improvement. But very good laps there from Hart, along with Gamer, who manages it up to 107.723, and what a lap from them there, as checkered flag is now falling. Raid and Creator both haven't done laps at all, while James is going to be on the line to go up and over to P4. Very good lap time from them as well. What about Kimi in that Red Bull? He's finding over 2:10s. Will he be able to get past RD? Yes, he will be able to get past RD. Final race of the season, and grabbing that pole position should and definitely will feel great, unless Prototype could beat it up, and he will not, as they come into the pits straight away, which is interesting to see. So only drivers who could or potentially would have the potential of beating one or the other times. I think Hardy's going to go over and take the checkered flag and not head into the pits So top two are separated by barest of margins here, and you know that is gonna be pretty good fight. Less than a tenth separating the top two. Are we gonna see a Red Bull of Juno get better on their time, get better than their previous time? By the looks of it, no, that will not be the case. And as they'll take the checkered flag, every driver has now taken the checkered flag with Vaz out of this one. So 11 drivers out there, the top two in the championship. One man is down in P9, the other is in P2. So it's all happening. And definitely the fight at the front will be fantastic, will be exciting with RD for his championship on the line. Will he be fighting or will he take care? Because the likes of Kimi, who's only got 54 points in the championship, he's got nothing to lose in a situation like this. Unlike RD, who's got a whole championship to focus on if he does get out of this race. So it's Kimi who takes pole ahead of RD with Hot in P2, followed by James in P4. Very good lap from him actually, with Hawk getting a P5. That's only McLaren in the top 5. Juno in P6. GV in P7. Prototype, the final driver to get a lap in. While Raid and Creator did not come out on track, Vaz was out of it and could not put a lap on the board. So out of 11, 8 drivers got a lap in. And now the ultimate test of drivers for the final race of the season. Would they be able to ready up or not? Right here for the final race of the season, for the fun final time before the season comes to an end. We're just going to be waiting for a few minutes here as the drivers get ready. The teams select their strategies for their best strategies for their drivers. Drivers select their setups and be ready for racing. And you know the championship. I mean, sure, Raid is down in P9. He didn't put a lap in qualifying. It could still potentially be a good one. And if he's got speed, he could catch up to the top. I mean, not a lot of drivers are in this session, so P9 maybe not as bad as it gets. I think we should get an indication of when we're going to be starting. We haven't got a specific time, but I think we just, from past experiences here, we just pop up on the track randomly, even if the admins do decide to continue. Yep, indeed, that's the thing, as we are now going to be moving forward. The formation lap is now on 36 laps here around the Brazilian Grand Prix. The chance is on for the one final time at the moment. Ray RD is going to be at the top, being in P2 for the race start. 12 points lead already to their name heading into this one. Now that is an interesting choice for a 30-plus lap race. Everybody's on the medium tire. Nobody has used the hard tire here, so maybe we're going to get a one stoppage. I don't think so. Everybody started on the medium and the soft. Possibly would mean a two-stop race here. And look at that, GV on a set of softs, along with Raid starting on a soft. Let me check if Raid is actually in the session. AIA is driving for him. I mean, at the moment, it doesn't look like the AIA is driving for him, so possibly they will be eventually driving here. And as it is, they're starting on the soft tire, so they definitely have the plan of moving forward. They definitely have the plan to get a good start and only look forward and look ahead in the session rather than looking behind. All right, then, we're on to go here as we're waiting for the 5 lights to go out for the season finale here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. What started 12 rounds ago is going to end here in Brazil. It's going to be 5 red lights, and we go racing in the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's going to be a decent start for Kimi, but decent start for Ardi as well. What about Hart in P3? He's got just about enough to stay right behind the top 2, while Kimi and Ardi are going to be heading side by side into the S's. Kimi just gets the exit ahead of RD. Well, RD might be in a bit of a pressure from Ian Hart behind, who's got the opportunity. Meanwhile, James and Juno are heading towards the end of that first sector. On the inside line, James will get past Juno, while Crate is up to P6. What a start from him as well. So by the looks of it, Raid is now moving forward as well, but Creator got a better start than Raid on the soft tires versus him being on the mediums. And GV's down in P11, so maybe the medium tire runners did get off the line better than those soft tires. Well, Kime is 6 tenths ahead of RD already, but that gap could come down soon. Meanwhile, Hart seems to be okay in P3 as well. James in P4, followed by Juno in P5. Well, Crater is only 3 tenths behind Juno, and a possible move could be coming up so very soon. Raid is not far away as well. He must have his championship in the mind, while Masquerade is already going to move to the inside line. They'll be side by side, heading towards turn 1 and into the S as they go. They still will be side by side. There's going to be a collision between the two, nearly as they just made contact, and Raid is going to get past Juno as well. Or will he? We might be getting 3 wide, heading towards the end of the first sector. Is Juno going to come back at Raid? No, he will not. But there was a slight bit of contact between. It was more than slightest, but still not a big one. Slight bit of wheel banging between Crater and Juno there. And Juno loses the position in the contacts. And there's going to be Raid. He's now right behind Masquerator. And eventually it's all on the line. So a one-stop eventually is possible here by the looks of our strategy. So maybe soft tires runners could be getting a 2-stop, but the medium ones will just go medium hard. But would they be able to manage it or not would be an interesting thing to see right here, because it's out and about what we're going to be getting, what these drivers are going to be showing us right here. Well, the top drivers seem to be okay. Meanwhile, Kimi keeps putting fastest laps after fastest laps right here. Eventually, it looks like so, and we'll be getting, might just be getting a fight between the top 2 very soon. While Ian seems okay and stable in P3, James on his own in P4 as well. Crater and Raid could be catching up to them very soon. Meanwhile, Juno has lost out to the cars ahead, 1.3 seconds behind now, while Hawk is behind him as well. 3 tenths, Waz is behind Hawk out there at the top. Meanwhile, Raid could potentially be going up for a move on Creator soon. He will be going for it sooner rather than later, but he nearly he doesn't take him out, but slight bit of contact out there. So maybe he's being a little bit aggressive. He's being a little bit aggressive and showing a bit of eagerness to get past him. But I think that's what he needs to do. Starting on the soft tire, he needs to make all those positions. He's made a couple of positions already, but remember, they nearly started on similar amount of just one ahead of the other. So it's not about there's any difference. And at the moment, it's going to be Crater who's made more positions than Raid has so far in this race. Raid is going to follow him against James. They both will get past James there. The overtake's going to be done, and we're out here while Vaz and Proto are fighting each other as Proto just gets past Vaz. But well done from Raid and Creator. So these two could potentially be fighting each other off for the top potential P4 position. So remember, even if Raid is to win here tonight to get 25 points, his then about 15 and 20 still a P3 from RD will be good enough to get him the championship right here. So it's out and about. As long as RD finishes ahead of Raid, there will be no problem in him grabbing that championship, grabbing that World Drivers' Championship right here. Only 4 laps in out of 36 right here. eventually could go right or wrong for anybody. So far, it looks pretty stable. Even the top two. I think RD is doing a pretty good job right now, not trying to get ahead on Kimi or trying to be too aggressive. I think he knows that he simply just needs to stay behind him for the moment and keep it as it is, unless RD catches up and there's a bit of a fight for position. Only then you could say, okay, they're going to be fighting each other off. But yeah, look at that, as I said. Oh, there's going to be RD Raid now finally coming up on Masquerator, and he does get past Masquerator, but he's going to come back at him as our Raid runs a little bit wide. That's going to easily allow the Aston Martin to get past him. They're nearly going to make contact. They do make contact, but just about avoid anything huge, and they will be able to avoid it. And that's a safety car. And that's a safety car. So our Raid and Crater, remember, both have gained the same amount of positions. So it'll now depend whether are we going to see the Aston Martin, not the Aston Martin, but those on the mediums pit, or those who are on the soft tires, the likes of Raid and TV, might have the opportunity to get off that soft tire, or do they want to continue on this soft tire? Because their best bet would be the hard tire right now, but even if they do go for a hard tire, they still need to pit again. So either they go for another set of softs, or a set of mediums here. But what about the top? Ooh, there was a little bit of bag of tricks, and Kimi does not come into the pits while Raid, RD, Hart, everybody follows in one another. So Kimi has decided to stay out. It's a very early safety car. So maybe it would rather be that, okay, we're going to stay out. We're not going to pit in this early, especially in a race where, you know, it's a one-stop designated race by the strategy that's telling us, and everybody pretty much is going on a set of hards. And as I said, another set of softs would only make sense right now if you are to make a two-stop strategy, because even if this set of soft tires last him 10 laps here, considering how it'll depend on the tire degradation. I think the sun is out. It's pretty hot out on the track, so I think that might not help, especially the soft tire on this game. If you're anyway past 85, 90 degree on the tire temperature, it's completely heating up, and the tires do heat up very easily. So medium and hard tire are potentially the best tires on this game. But it, of course, depends from track to track, from you know, from situation to situation where you're going to be getting. So not only Kimi, but Prototype has also stayed out as well, being on them 5-lap-old medium tires. Well, RD, Hart, and Raid are only separated by a car within themselves right now. Well, one is on the set of hards, the other is on a set of softs. Eventually, remember, Raid didn't even put a lap in qualifying, so he's off his race start. He's off his race performance. That's all he's going to get tonight. But eventually, it is all to play for right now, and I'm sure. Remember, it's a 12-point lead from Raid to RD. So for RD on Raid. Also, there's a formation lap point. Obviously, in 2025, the formation lap point was removed, but a formation lap point is awarded around here in this league. So 1 point, 1 extra point for not for the formation lap. Sorry, the fastest lap, I should say. So the fastest lap point is indeed awarded right here. That could come in handy if this close, if the action is close, if it gets pretty tricky at the very end of this race. This could go anywhere right here. Still pretty early, I'd say. I think 7 laps in, and potentially the safety car will go in this lap as everybody's caught up, and even if it's a possible lap 8 restart right here, or a lap 9 restart if it's to come in at the end of the next lap. So still a lot remains, still more than half of the race is remaining. It's only one half of the race is nearly complete. 1/3 of the race is completed, and safety car is indeed gonna be coming into the pits now. So eventually a lot could be on the line. So much will be on the line as Kimi is out in the lead, but on 6-lap old medium tires, which would become 7-lap old medium tires this time around. But right behind him is Prototype, who's also done the same thing and is behind him on the same amount of laps on those tires. I think what Proto probably would be happy about is, Kimi, that he's got Prototype behind him, so maybe, just maybe, he's going to be saved from him for the bit right now. But for how long will that be the case, though? Because new tires versus Boltz's old tires could come into play. Well, Kimi has just managed to get off the line pretty nicely. Meanwhile, RD nearly just defending off Crater on the exit towards turn 1, while RD's already impatient to try and get past Prototype there. Will he be able to get past him? Is he going to send a lunge down the inside? No. He's not really close enough to be making that move, while there was a little bit of a fight at the back, and I think Juno might have just got past Vaz. But remember, the hard tire runners will not have any temperature in those tires, and that could potentially mean a pretty good advantage for the likes of Raid. And surely we could see that those soft tires, he's going to be enjoying on them, as Hart is going to keep the inside line. There still will be wheel to wheel, but Raid just gets the exit better. Or has he, though, because Art is still going to be staying side by side with him, but the McLaren does get past him, and now all that pressure will be on RD out there, while Raid has gone past Ian. Meanwhile, Ian now might be in a little bit of a pressure for a Moss Crater as well. Despite both being on the hard tire, he might have not got the best of starts, while RD is still looking to get past Prototype. He's still looking to make the move on the Sauber. He's still not able to do that just yet. Right out here, so there might be an opportunity here, while Raid is ever closer to RD as well, but so is RD to Prototype. Both of the McLaren and the Haas will be getting that DRS. We might get a three-wide situation here. We won't be quite seeing that, but Prototype's going to lose it to one car. Or will he, though? This will be side by side, and he just gets the exit better than the Haas. They're nearly going to make contact. The Haas driver will have the inside line. Will he get past him? No, not just yet. They're still going to be staying side by side, wheel to wheel. Who's going to be providing in a bit of a space? Prototype just gives him enough space, and pretty well done from the two. And I think the best of them has to be Raid right here. He has to stay patient. He has to not rather make mistakes or bump into one another. They're all doing all they can right here. Wheel to wheel combat is a ultimate test for a driver right here, and RD, I think, being unable to get past Prototype, being unable to get past him, has helped Kimi move away, but also Raid, it's going to be a benefit to Raid as well. Maybe not, because Raid will not be making the most of those soft tires. Or is he, though? There's going to be 3 wide heading towards turn 1. And Raid has overtaken RD. And RD will have to concede that place into P3. Well, remember, RD is going to be still okay if he finishes in P3. You're going to get 15 points for P3. Heading is 12. Would mean that's going to be 27 points overall for him, minus the formation lap, as Prototype has made a slight little bit of a mistake, and definitely those old tires are now showing life age, and he's going to be out of it. Are we going to get another safety car? Yes, we will! As we lose a car here. Earlier on there was a safety car, but we did not lose anybody, as GV's now out of it. Only 2 to 3 laps was the time he went racing before another safety car came in, and Raid has got a drive-through penalty here. Raid has got a drive-through penalty, speeding under the safety car. This game is brutal sometimes. And it might have been the case here as well, but now the likes of Kimi and Prototype, who did not pit at the previous safety car, is going to be their best opportunity to come into the pits now, and especially Kimi, who's over 3 seconds ahead of the next car. I don't think hard tire runners are going to follow him in. Maybe the medium tires if they wish to, but I don't think so. And yep, Raid is now going to come in, but I wonder if he's... no, he's not going to come in. He's actually going to stay out on those soft tires right now. It depends how much he's going to be able to put those soft tires, run those soft tires on, because now he doesn't only need to come in and change those tires, he also needs to come in to pay that penalty, because on this game, if you do not pay a drive-through penalty, you would eventually get disqualified. He'd get disqualified a lap or two early, I believe, because of it. So that then eventually means you'd have to ruin your strategy chances, and as it stands, RD will be getting 18 points in this one. Who's got the fastest lap here? Let's actually check right here, and it's Kimi who's got the fastest lap, 110.872. Raid, despite on the soft tire, was not able to get a fastest lap, but I think understandably so. He was not in free air right now. He's got the free air up ahead of himself, and if he's got just enough speed and just enough life on those soft tires, he might just do enough to get himself a decent gap to RD if he's able to do that. As the safety car comes in potentially next lap, at the end of next lap, so it's lap 13 restart, and ooh, there's a bit of position lost, and Prototype didn't pit on the previous lap. That is an interesting thing to see, that Kimi, who did pit on the previous lap, Prototype did not, and he's only now coming into the pits. Maybe he was, you know, let's say Kimi is already in P9, so potentially Prototype would have been at the bottom anyways as well, so you would have thought, okay, I'm going to get one lap past on those older tires and just get myself the best chance on these hards. I mean, even if they are to take over 17 laps on these hards, they'll go over to lap 27. So at the end of this race, they'll still need another stop, potentially by lap 27, lap 28, which eventually, you know, will be a pit window, will be a chance for a pit window right there. So it's going to be on and out and about. The safety car should be coming in this lap. Just a bit of a couple of seconds, and we'll be jumping on to the restart once more. And we're ready to go racing once more on 6-lap-old soft tyres is Raid versus 6-lap-old hard tyres is RD. The top two in the championship are headed in this race again as a safety car restart. As RD runs a little bit wide, that might allow Crater to get closer to him, and Crater will get closer to him on the exit of the Sinaises. No DRS, of course, for a lap after the safety car goes in, and the soft tyres is performing absolutely great around here. Nobody else is using it, but by the looks of it, Raid is doing a pretty decent job on those soft tires, or is he though? He might have ran a little bit wide. He's maybe making a couple of those mistakes, going a little bit wide down there. A lot is happening after the safety car restart, the second safety car restart. Now Crater is looking more than ever impatient to get past RD, and he will get past him as soon as possible. As soon as there's an opportunity, it might come right now as he runs a little bit wide, slightly hesitates on the exit of the core, on the exit there, and that'll allow Crater to get ever closer, and Raid has already pulled over 1.3 seconds ahead. He was on a soft tire early, he put another soft tire in, and he's sure in the free air, but soon, the way as it stands, he's going to come into the pits now, and I wonder if that's going to be to change the tires, or will that be as he narrowly avoids another penalty? He's there in to pay drive-through penalty, and he almost would have got a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. And meanwhile, at the very bottom of the field, there's going to be Prototype fighting with Vaz out there. And he will get past Vaz, or will he though? Well, at the top, we're going to move forward to. And RD is going to be losing to Crater. And he's definitely getting that pressure of the championship to fight for. Well, Mon McLaren is into the pits and at the bottom. The other is at the top in P3. So far, right here. Remember, after all these timers still unable to get past the halfway mark in this race, because obviously safety car, so slowed down for a little bit eventually, But let's see, I mean, we're up 14 out of 36. A lot remains in this race. So much is still remaining. Anything could happen out and about in these times, and which you think is over might not be over just yet. Well, Hawk might give a bit of a pressure to RD as well, with the rear wing opening on the McLaren, but so does it open on the Haas as well. So he might just be a little bit okay right here, but will James be okay to stay ahead of the Ferrari of Hart just yet? Right here, yes, he will be. Meanwhile, Juno and Prototype are going to be stuck in wheel to wheel, as it's not going to be lasting for too long. Well, Juno just gets ahead on the exit of the center S's, but not anymore though, as Prototype will get the opportunity. He's going to have the chance to get past him. They're going to be side by side slightly. Do they make contact as Prototype nearly runs absolutely wide? He's going to join back in, but down in P9, he lost the position, and only 10 drivers are remaining. And Raid is now finally on a set of hard tires, which could potentially see him go to the end of it if he's willing to do so, as Juno's now got a penalty. Meanwhile, they're at the top. It is looking okay for these drivers so far. From P1 to P5, everybody's on those 9-lap-old hard tires, while Kimi is in P6, about to get past Hart. Or is he, though? Because he's pretty close to Hart there, but eventually no chance or no indication of them getting past just yet. Well, Hart is going to be fighting with James soon. Might be an opportunity for him to get past James. James is on the Hart as well. Well, Hawk is on a set of mediums. I know there's going to be a bit of a fight going on between these guys at the back. It's going to be Prototype who might have the opportunity to get past Waz. Waz has been given him a pretty hard time there. Well, the DRS will be open on the Sauber. So will it be on the Haas. It's going to be just enough done by Vas to defend his P8 there. So, as I said, I know there's going to be a bit of a problem. There's going to be a bit of inaction going on at the back, but at the top we'd be focusing, considering the championship chances or our championship lead. Well, our P2 in the championship is down in P10. But a lot could happen. Over 20 laps still remain now. We've only done 16 laps. That too will also be just at the end of this lap, so this could potentially go anywhere. Well, Creator still leads this race in P1. Continues to lead all right ahead of everyone, with RD, who's in P2 so far. Eventually continuing on right here. Meanwhile, Juno and Vaz are going to be now fighting each other. Prototype is backed out of this fight as Vaz nearly gets tagged down. And is he going to take Prototype with him? As he was side by side with Juno. And they're going to make contact. And he finds himself off the runoff area. Narrowly finding the wall. Just about avoids it, does Vaz. And that could have went either way. While Kimi is now going to get past Juno. Sorry, and past Hart. And up to P5. Kimi, remember, stayed out quite a long time and pitted during the safety car. Second safety car, not the first one. And he's now stuck in traffic. He's unable to get past this traffic for a while so far. And I wonder what Vaz is doing. He's packed and he's got another spin then. He's done another spin right there. While the McLaren of Raid is now going to get past Vaz as well. Maybe the tire life is showing up, but that contact would have possibly given him a bit of damage maybe. And after all those laps staying behind Crater for a while, we might just see RD get past Crater here. Are we going to be seeing up a move coming up from the Haas driver right at the end of the first sector? We might just be seeing that they'll be side by side. RD will get past him even before the braking zone. He might run a little bit wide. That might allow Crater to get past once more, but no, that will not eventually be the case. And finally, we're now halfway distance past in this race. Still more than half, half of it is remaining, with 36 laps past, 18 past, and 18 more will be on the way. And Vaz is now retired out of the race, but it's in the pit lane. I think that after that incident, I'd assume it would have given him potential side pod damage or even underbody damage, which makes it very difficult for you to continue and for you to race on. you know, with the damage, he might have got raving damage as well, because the way he lost the car, it could have potentially meant he's got raving damage, which makes it even harder for you to continue. And I think it would certainly be one of the reasons that, oh, what is going on here as James is in the wall right there. I think there was a couple of cars pretty close to each other and they might have been fighting one another out there. While did Raid get past? No, it wasn't Raid, it was Hawk who got past a couple of cars there, got past Ian, and James has found the wall and a bit of front wing damage on his car. Meanwhile, Vaz's car, I guess, came out of the pits and has caused a yellow flag in the first sector, so no overtaking around there. Meanwhile, the top two are going still strong. 13 laps on these hards and pretty much smooth, so they actually might just be able to do possible 20 laps on these hards. And if they are able to do, which would eventually mean from here, at the end of this lap, it'll be 14 laps on these tires. So they could take it to about lap 27. So 27 to 28 laps in this race. If they are to take it to the end and do about, let's say, you know, 100, not 100, but a one-stop strategy, or take it to 20 places. Are we having a McLaren in? Yep, we have the McLaren of Hawk now into the pits. I wonder if there was front wing damage that would have let them come into the pits. James also, because of front wing damage, is going to have to pit. But the McLaren of Hawk has now decided to pit it right there, while Raid is getting fastest laps after fastest lap. So he's making sure to get that extra point, at least to get him now with only 9 drivers remaining. Prototype is just going to beat that up, but he's on a set of soft tires, which is an interesting thing to see right here. And he's on 2-lap old soft tires, which I wonder if those soft tires are from qualifying, unless he's pitted a couple of laps earlier and not now. You know, that would, we'd say, okay, he's 4 down. I think he would have pitted early, because not now. So maybe those soft tires were brand new indeed. Just not right there. Well, RD is now in as well. So 14 laps, which at the end of this lap would be 15 maximum in this race on these soft tires, is all these guys are able to do, unless best option would be another set of hards. And yep, indeed it will be the case for RD there. He'll put another set of hards, while Hawk is now going to be making his way. Does he undercut RD there? Has he undercut RD? This could be a bit of a close fight between the two on the exit of the pit lane right there. Well, Hawk is just going to be exiting the center S's. So will BRD exiting the pit lane right there on very cold tires, but he'll just do enough, at least for the moment, to keep his position so far, despite being on colder tires. But he just managed to have enough gap out of the pit lane and the exit of the pit lane. 1.6 seconds separating these two. While at the top, Kimi, who slightly pitted later than these guys, would be able to continue for a little bit longer. So the only edge Kimi would have in this strategy is, let's say, he indeed will be able to continue on for a little bit longer, and he'll get past a Crater already, who was preparing to come into the pits right now. So Kimi potentially, if he's to continue, you know, let's say if he tries a few extra laps than these guys, even on the hard tire, he could even go on to a set of softs at the end, or even a set of mediums, which could potentially work out good for him. And Proto is in lap 8 in P8 right now, over 10.4 seconds to the next car. But still, I think soft tire is decent. Like, usually you don't even see drivers use a soft tire. Sure, longer races, and maybe it's not worth it in a one-stop race, or when you're trying to go longer, but it's still usable. Well, look at this. This is going to be absolutely neck and neck between the two. But Crater just does enough on the end of that first sector to get past and stay ahead of Hawk right there. So far, but how long would this be continuing? How long would they be continuing this? because now Crater and RD still 4/10 between the two. RD, remember, then has managed to undercut him. RD has managed to undercut Kimmy, sorry, not Kimmy, but Crater just right here, as Kimmy is over 18 seconds ahead. He might have the opportunity, while Crater is not going to wait for anything longer. He's going to get past Darty easily, but Darty might have just let him past on purpose to have the DRS now on the exit of the Senna S's right there. But no, he will not get the rear wing open. I wonder if the Aston Martin has the rear wing open. He doesn't as well, so nobody gets to have the rear wing open there. So I'm not sure what happened, and now Crater's got a 3-second time penalty. It's only going to make the matters worst for them. So Juno, Hart, and now Crater are all the 3 drivers who have got a time penalty to their name. You know that's not going to be a good feeling for them at all. As lap 23 out of 36 will turn lap 24 with Kimmy. He's lost out time then. He's definitely lost out time pretty quick. Not sure whether he's lost out because of a mistake or simply he's losing time now to newer tires. New tire runners against his old tires, because he was over 18 seconds on the previous lap. Is now 16 seconds on this one. So I think he pretty much need to come in. I don't think he can stay longer because he's just going to lose time. And then also you wouldn't have enough laps to the end of this race to give himself a chance, to give himself the opportunity to come back at these drivers sooner rather than later. And I think right now, as long as RD is going to be in P3, RD is going to be ahead of Raid, who's 4.3 seconds behind Hart and on a completely different strategy than these guys. He's probably not going to worry about it. I think he's probably, this is going to be one of the races that he's going to care less about a podium or a position, finishing a position behind Crater or anybody who's not challenging him for the championship. So it would rather be, you know, in terms of pressure, it would be the mix of not worrying about anything or worrying about it a lot, which could possibly be the case for them just right now. Out and about, well, the two teammates at the back are having a little bit of a battle with each other, maybe. As James has gotten past Prototype, they're kind of having a bit of a quiet race right here, while RD is 5'10", still within a second of Crater. So yeah, as I was saying, I think as long as RD is within a second of Crater, as long as he's got the DRS, he's going to be able to stay ahead. While we talk about staying ahead, it is going to be Raid. He's made a mistake, and this is not only going to dent his championship hopes even further right now. It is not so of a thing that he would have been looking for. A slight bit of a mistake, and he's going to lose out a position right there, which would probably make matters worst. Remember, McLaren was only a point ahead of Mercedes, so thinking McLaren's going to finish second in the Constructors' Championship as well. But Haas, who was over 46 points ahead of the next next team, Mercedes, who was just 1 point ahead of McLaren, so 47 points to Haas McLaren would have to make. And at this point, a P4 for Hawk is just going to turn P5, so that's going to be 10 points for him, and only 16 points. So they're nearly just making a point or two more than RD at this point in a 1 versus 2 fight. So Haas is pretty much going to be pretty okay with that Constructors Championship on the line, with that championship being okay. And another mistake right there, and Raid has lost it out there. I think he doesn't want to quit right now, because still a championship on the line, and anything can eventually happen till the end of the race in a race like this. But I'm sure if this was any other race, he would have easily lost it. I'm not sure what is going on, because is he stuck right here? Is he stuck there? Because he's moving left and right. He's in reverse gear. Oh, yep. He's stuck. He looks to be stuck, and he's now left the session. Because he was... Yep, those wheels are spinning. I think somebody needs to tag him to probably even move. But now his championship hopes are even going to be worsened right there. As he's lost, he's stuck. There's no way, and he's disqualified. He's disqualified for parking in a dangerous condition. And now, unless Adi wants to complete his race, with those within close range are no more in this race to challenge him right there. He could simply come into the pits, retire, watch this race at home, and then take the championship to his name. Because right now, Crater, I believe, would be Kasper, is in 100 with 111 points, but he's many points away from the championship lead. Who's the next car closer to him? So right now, his worries would only get less and less. And I'm sure he will not be happy about that raid, but I mean, he made a mistake, so he'd rather not be happy about his own mistake rather than, you know, eventually be the case so far. So let's see what we will have in the remaining 8 laps at the end of this race, including this one will be 7 laps. Not much contest is, you know, remaining so far with their championship almost taken right here. I mean, even R8 decides to retire, sorry, RD decides to retire here. The championship would still be his with a 12-point lead coming into this race. So this looks pretty done and dusted. Maybe not yet, though. I mean, he's still going to try and find another podium here. He's still going to try and find another podium finish or another simple finish to end the championship or to end the season on a high right here, which would definitely feel good for him, I'm sure. While the gaps are Kimi leads. Remember, we even forgot about Kimi right here. He's in over 18 laps on these hard tires and seems to be in a league of his own. 11 seconds ahead of the next car, but remember, he's a pit stop behind them. He's in the lead so far. Crater in P2, followed by RD in P3. Hart is in a race of his own as well, but he's in P4 with Hawk in P5. Juno in P6, while James and Prototype are in P7 and 8 on their own and in their own race so far. Right there with Vaz, GV and Raid, the 3 drivers out of this race. While GV and Vaz retired, Raid got disqualified, which eventually was after a bit of a mistake he made. And the only 2 drivers who are within 1 second of each other are these guys. And I think for how closely and how long Raid has managed to stay behind Crater definitely tells me that he's doing it on purpose. He's simply staying within the DRS. He's staying within him to help him stay close, and he doesn't have to worry about an overtake just yet, which I believe he won't even be going for an overtake right now. You know, he'd simply be thinking about it maybe late towards the end of the session, towards the end of this race, as we're now moving into the final 6 laps of racing remaining in this race. So it would only mean how good he's on his way to do, or how good he'll be looking to do at the end of it. The championship, the goal which it would have been for tonight to achieve for him, seems, at least so far, seems to have been achieved just yet. And another driver we've lost, and that is Prototype, who's decided to retire. I wonder if he's retired in the pits or not, and by the looks of it, he definitely hasn't retired in the pits. That's such a weird position to crash out, as now only 7 drivers remain for the remaining 6 laps of this race, while Dart has got a drive-through penalty. This was the worst time to get a drive-through penalty, as Kimi is going to come into the pits. He's again got a brilliant chance to pit in. Meanwhile, Crater stays out. RD's going to come into the end of this, come in into the pits right here with Hart, who's going to stay out. And I mean, he's on 9-lap old hard, so he should be able to finish this race easy. But has decided to stay out. Well, Hawk has got a 10-second time penalty. So this now could be interesting. I think anybody can win this right here. Crater has decided to stay out and not come into the pits. Kimmy's got new soft tires. Hart is all out there as well, an new 9-lap old Hart, but he's got a drive-through penalty, so he'll have to pit very soon after the safety car comes in. Well, RD is in P4 instead of softs as well, along with Hawk and Juno, who are just following him right behind now. Meanwhile, James has got a... Okay, he's just coming into the pits now. I was like, he's exiting the pits on old tires, but he's now just now going to be getting those laps in. And I think now those who did not pit potentially would just be thinking that why didn't we, or maybe they've got some plans that we don't know just yet. Right here, and as soon as everybody catches up to the safety car, it should be coming into the pits very soon. So as soon as the safety car is in, as soon as the green flags fall once more, and for the final time in this race, hopefully with no safety cars to the end of this race, we'll be catching up back once more. We've lost 4 cars out of the 11 that started in this race. The ones running are Crater on 10-lap old hards. Well, everybody has now decided to come in and put a new set of soft tires, with Kimmy in P2, RD in P3, Hart in P4, with Juno in P5, followed by James in P6 and Hawk in P7. Prototype, Vaz, JV and Raid are the 3 drivers who we've lost in this session so far. Safety car should be coming in this lap now. I'd say it shouldn't be staying out. It won't really be staying out more than this. And Crater eventually has decided to continue on these old hard tires. Right now, those tires are going to be very cold, and I think expect him to lose a couple of positions because these soft tires do not take a lot to warm up as compared to these soft tires, the hard tires do. While has got a drive-through penalty along with 3 seconds to Juno and Crater. Nobody else has got a penalty at all in this race, at least so far, with everybody else being on brand new medium hard soft tires, while Crater is on older hards. He's doing all he can, moving left and right, weaving throughout to the start-finish straight to get temperatures in those tires to get varied degrees, 1-2 degrees, as much as they can. on those hard tires to help them get a better start, help them get a better safety car restart. This could be going anywhere. Have they went for it? Yes, they have. And that might have been a very good restart, to say the least. And RD might be putting all that pressure on Kimi now. Kimi might be in a bit of pressure there on the inside. He's going to defend that inside line. He's nearly going to go into the back of Kimi, of Creator there. And that's going to slow him down a little. That easily allow RD to get past him. And RD does get past him as hard. Is now going to be putting that pressure on Kimi as well. Kimi's going to defend that inside line in the next left end. But that'll just enough be defended while trying to get ahead of Kimi. Does get overtaken by Juno, and he's going to lose to James as well. As good as a qualifying was for Hart, it seems to be it's falling backwards in this race right now. I think it would have been anybody's game at the restart, with almost everybody being on the same compounded tire, apart from the race leader. Well, he's going to be in a bit of pressure now. He will have that strike from RD, and he's going to get past him there on the inside line. It's going to turn the outside line now. And sooner rather than later, Crater will have to give up on that position, and he eventually does. Right here with Kimi, putting that pressure on him as well. DRS not available, remember, after the safety car. Let it get enabled into the NIS at the end of this lap. The final 2 laps at the end of this race. It could be anybody's game. I think he's got a penalty, so he has probably less chances than the other two to win this Grand Prix. But it could be Kimi or it could be RD who's going to take the crown of the final race win of the season here. RD, remember, should be winning this championship by over 27 points. But Creator, maybe you would have thought he was going to come in, but no. RD Gamer, who came into this race 12 points in the championship lead. Their closest rival is no more in this race, so they're not going to be scoring any points. While Creator gets overtaken, but he's going to be back at it once more. He's still going to be staying side by side, and he does not want to leave the side at all. He might be on those older tires, but still going to be giving it everything to give it a final chance and a final dance, while Juno's going to go for the inside line of Creator. And now maybe those hard tires are going to be coming into play, and the tire rate is affecting them just now as they're going to make contact once more. He's not going to stay out of it at all. He's going to send it and nearly lose the car, but just about keep it to himself, as James now will get past Creator as well. That's going to be Creator falling and tumbling down the field again. With Kimi is now going to be getting past Creator, or rather RD will be getting past Kimi, sorry, as that's going to be on the case, while Kimi will get the DRS and the rear wing opening on the exit of the DRS straight here as we've been to the final lap of this race. Kimi will swoop past the Haas driver now without any worry, without any issues at all, and that will be on our way. I mean, this probably would be the race, as I said, he'd care less about anything. Well, both of them have got a penalty, as James is going to make slight bit of contact with Juno, push him a little bit wide, and both will get past him, while Hart has still managed to continue. So I wonder if he's all right. He's paid his drive-through penalty. He's got 3 seconds. Then P7 would potentially be a P7 will be his finish for tonight. And that is it right here. We're getting to the end of it. We're coming to an end. It might have not been the best of seasons for Kimi right here, but still he's going to end on a high to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. But it is going to be RD Gamer, who started the season a couple of races later, still will be crowned the Drivers' World Champion and wins the championship and finishes in P2 here. Hawk gets P3, while James in P4, Creator in P5, followed by Juno in P6, and our final driver at Hart in P7. This is then coming to an end. Haas will take the team's championship as well. And this was a nice one. Maybe not many people that started this race, but eventually well done. And Haas and RD Gamer take the championship right there. Congratulations to the team and the driver. Well, congratulations to Kimi to win the final race of the season right here. So these are going to be your final results from the race. Kimi wins ahead of RD, ahead of Hawk in P3, with James in P4, followed by Creator in P5. Then Juno is in P6 with Hart in P7. Prototype, Raid, Vaz, GV, all out of the Grand Prix. And this is going to be the end, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be marking an end to a season that started quite a while ago. 12 laps, 12 races into the season was what we came for, and we've got to the end of it now. And very well done to everybody who competed. Very well done to everybody, the drivers who could achieved podium, achieved race wins, and nevertheless, the big congratulations to RD, who's taken the drivers' championship crown to win it by many points to the next car by over 27 points. That actually won't be 27 points. That'll be about actually 12 points he had already, so that'll nearly be 20 points, I believe. That'll be actually 30 points, because since RD didn't, he finished in second place with 18 points, scoring in this position, 12 points to his name already. So that's going to be over 30 points that's going to win the Drivers' Championship by. So big congratulations to them. And Haas will take the Team Championship crown as well. So this is pretty much going to be coming to an end now, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all enjoyed it throughout the season. Hope you all enjoyed the commentary and every streams, and had fun watching them after the races, or even live during the races throughout the season. This is going to mark to an end here from all of us here at Digital Racing Championship and myself, Zabi. We're going to get to an end of this season now. We shared some podiums, some race victories, and a lot in the end was enough for not enough. Anything wasn't enough for RD, who wins the Drivers' Championship crown. And also, not to forget, congratulations to Kimi, who's got a race win here tonight as well to end the season on a high. So that's pretty much going to be an end, ladies and gentlemen, from all of us here at Digital Racing Championship and me. It's a bye-bye. Adios.